Why do fish have an overriding desire to swim upstream in sandy streams that only flow for a few days a year? We're taught that if you want to find water, you go downstream. In North Queensland, in the dry tropics of Australia, most of the streams are rivers of sand for most of the year. In fact, you might go years without seeing any water in the streams. Then the wet season comes and there's heaps of rain. Usually not the early storms, but the main wet season when there's storm after storm and you get floods. The geology of the region is granitic, and after heavy rain, vast amounts of coarse granite sand wash into the creeks. I chose Lulu Creek because there's an old causeway that water flows over and it digs a deep pool which fish live in, and downstream there's the new bridge. And when they made the new bridge, they would have taken away all the sand and loose material that water can seep through, and that creates the permanent pool that you can see in the foreground. Lulu Creek is in the middle of nowhere. There's just bush in all directions, used for low-intensity cattle grazing. Using a drone, I could look upstream for deep rocky pools that might be attractive to fish, but there weren't any. The stream bed is simply sandy and flat. Lulu Creek is a tributary of the mighty Burdekin River. At peak flow, the Burdekin River is one of the biggest rivers in the world. Lulu Creek is south of Townsville and is about 80 kilometres down the Burdekin Falls Dam Road. In early February, the creek is just a river of sand. There's no water running down the river at all. 2 weeks later, the rains had fallen, peak wet season, and the fish were released from the pool that had kept them trapped during the dry season. The water tumbled over the causeway, and I thought that might be a barrier to fish migration. How the fish managed to get over this barrier. To see what the fish were doing, I had a little underwater camera. You can see my little underwater camera surrounded by tilapia fish. The tilapia were ever so hungry and they were trying to eat my camera. You can hear them actually biting the camera. After peak wet season had passed, the stream flow started to slow down and the water became very clear. This is the happy time when the pool is big and the stream is still flowing. The water is clear and warm. Most of the fish species known from the system made an appearance. These fish are barred grunter. In my fish trap, I caught exactly one fly-specked hardyhead. On the causeway, there were black tadpoles. These aren't really tadpoles. They give rise to the dreaded cane toad. The sandy bed of the creek is starting to re-emerge. The sandbar is pitted with big round footprints where cattle have walked across the creek. In the pool, juvenile bony brim pick at something in the sand. Rainbow fish start to look a little bit ragged around the edges. Turtles, tendans, also called common eeltail catfish, are moving around the bottom looking for little things to eat. While most fish seek the depths, tilapia are in the shallows looking for a way to escape. Footprints in the wet sand indicate that racali have been prowling the area. Racali are a native predator, a kind of giant water rat. By the middle of April, the creek has ceased to flow. The pool has become isolated and downstream reaches are completely dry. Green slime is starting to form on the bottom of the pool. Green slime is a sign of excess nutrients. By the end of April, the creek has completely dried out. Standing on the bridge and looking upstream, only the original pool remains. The pool has become tannin-stained, yet is still full of fish. The fish are swimming above the bottom, covered in green slime. The fish aren't happy about this situation, and several times I saw fish jumping out of the water onto the wet margins of the pool. I put a small net trap into the pond, baited with cheese, and I caught many rainbow fish, one tilapia and several water beetles. I really wanted just the eeltail catfish, because I hadn't had a good look at those. The eeltail catfish is the one fish I can't just grab. They have poisonous spines. In this view you can see the whiskers, which gives the catfish its name. The racali is doing lots of good work. I found 5 dead toads, each with their liver ripped out. I still haven't answered the question of why the fish swim upstream. I think they swim upstream because There's an eruption of invertebrates out of the bed of the stream after first flow. This video shows the little creatures moving around and creating rings on the water surface. The fish would eat these tiny invertebrates. There were no mussels, crayfish, or macro algae or aquatic plants, so there's not much else to eat. I think there are a few reasons why little fish swim up those sandy creeks. Firstly, they want to eat all the yummy things that emerge from the sand. Secondly, they want to find their own place away from all the thousands of hungry mouths that share the pool with them. And finally, there are no adult fish there. The adult fish are spawning in the larger streams. Big fish also like to eat little fish, so for their own protection, the little fish want to head up into shallow waters where the big fish can't follow. So I don't really think fish are crazy. They just have a kind of logic that we cannot appreciate.